Wrestling podcast is set for one fall. Introducing first, he is the man of mischief, the master of shenanigans, the horrific haunts. Shifty Gizm, next he hails from Italy. Eurasia, Europa, Sir Ronald Rome, Arminius, Romericus, Romulo, Augustus, Rome's. Finally, from the bluegrass state, he is Kentuckiana's finest. The sorcerer supreme, the StreamYard, the ostinator. And this is your full throttling, 5-star sword swinging, table breaking, lads lifting, gimmick giving, good old wrestling. Backseat, autonomous, freedom duffing, liberty loving, globe adventuring, podcast federation. No, and it's starting right, god dang, now.
Yes, I ended it perfectly this time, because sometimes I have issues with the FUD stuff, or having issue trying to time that. But yes, we're back. Good old Wrasslin's back, boys. We're back. It's been, what, several months since we've done good old Wrasslin?
About that, yeah.
I can't remember.
In our time, it's been about 5 years. Look, listen, I apologize to everybody. You know, a lot of scheduling stuff, and it also wasn't completely my fault because TKO fucking ruined it for everybody.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing something new. I personally, we're not really gonna do a whole, because the thing is, we're all not gonna be able to watch like the current stuff because TKO and ESPN and all that fun stuff. So we're probably going to be talking about like the older shows, but we're also going to have segments where, like, because I know Rome's he's still keeping in the loop of the current stuff with WWE. I got the current stuff with AEW. So I mean, we're going to be talking about all sorts of things about good old wrestling nowadays. But you know what? We're here. We're back. Episode 18. We're talking WrestleMania 14 tonight. So all things are good. We got Shifty and Rome's here. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
Boy, oh boy, before we get into the review, man, a lot of stuff's been happening. Lots of good, lots of bad, lots of mixed, I have to say. We're gonna start off like pretty solid. We're gonna just start pretty easy here. Pretty big softball. Jericho is resigning with AEW. I know a lot of people were talking about Jericho going to WWE. And then there was a lot of rumors about his contract being frozen by Tony Khan. There was, a lot of rumors surrounding Chris Jericho, and a lot of them were strongly suggesting that he was going to WWE until this past week on Dynamite. He came back. He trademarked the nickname The Cornerstone. The Judas theme is back. It looks like Jericho is in decent shape. He's done with the learning tree stuff. I'm going to start off by saying, you know what? Good for him. He probably saw the writing on the wall. If he was in talks with WWE, he probably saw the writing on the wall and said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to stay here where I know I'm going to have a lot of control over what I'm doing. What do you think?
I think also because Vince McMahon's not there either. Because it's very different now than when he left. So
100%.
There's a good meme out there I think I shared on Facebook where like, oh, but you'll have to lose. You come back to WWE, you're gonna have to lose to Gunther in a retirement match. I'm home.
He's like, you know what, Tony? We might be having some issues right now, but listen, I think I'd rather deal with you than Triple H and TKO right now.
Yeah, I mean, AEW is just fun. Why would you want to leave that?
Exactly.
And plus, I think he probably saw how badly they handled the Cena retirement run. So, yeah, I don't think he wanted any part of that. So he's staying at AEW.
Yeah, I remember there was a rumor last year that they were going to offer him a similar thing, like, hey, we're going to do a 1-year retirement match, but one, I don't think he's ready to retire, and two, whatever
Yeah.
plan it was, it just wasn't for him.
Yeah.
So
And also, it may not look good WWE hiring him back when he has like some accusations, and
Right.
after all WWE's had to deal with other people, so
yeah, here's the thing though too. Like I'm still gonna die on that hill. Like 2024, 2025 Chris Jericho was like some of the most go away heat, get off my TV, like type stuff he's done in a long time. Like
yeah,
the learning tree was not interesting. I felt like he was he wasn't, it didn't feel like he was, I don't want to say like it is pride, but you could tell like it felt like he was like, I hate using this word, but it's like, it's almost felt like he was washed. Like he
Yeah.
definitely wasn't like up to his usual standards. Now, from what I've seen on Dynamite, it looks like he's in better shape. He's cutting away all the stuff in the learning tree. If he gives like, if he's not doing any of that stuff and like it kind of goes back to form, like I mean, he's probably got like maybe a couple more years, maybe a few years left in him. Like as long as he's there to kind of like, he's not like doing a lot of like marquee stuff, like as long as he's like kind of there to just be that like kind of not like a part-time guy, but like be like the special attraction type character.
I agree, and that's where he should be right now. I mean, look, he's very despite some of the stuff the last couple of years, he's still underappreciated wrestler. He's been in this for a long time. He's up there as
Yeah.
one of the greats. Just make him a special attraction.
yeah, yep,
Because like it's almost like the Brock Lesnar argument with WWE right now. Like Brock really does not, they don't need Brock to like really drive stuff, and I don't think AEW right now really needs a Chris Jericho to like drive like the ratings, because like right now, like the ratings aren't like high, but they've been going up steadily the last like couple of months. So I mean, they're in like they're like starting to get into a space of like, okay, now we're starting to get into a better like
Right.
almost like a better like idea of like, okay, we're now at a better consistency, like things are a lot more like they're finding their footing again. And I think it helps that WWE right now is in their really, really bad like period in terms of they just can't get out of their own way. And I genuinely hope like Jericho's newest run, now that he's back in AEW, like I hope like it's good for him, and I hope that Jericho can find his footing again and be able to have like this last kind of hurrah kind of run that he, in whole honesty, like he really should have. I mean, the guy has done so much in pro wrestling, and again, like his AEW run was hit or miss, but let's call it for what it is. He was their first really big signing, and AEW wouldn't have had the eyes that it had to begin with. I mean, they would have had eyes to begin with because you still had guys like Omega and the Bucks there, but Jericho was the guy that most of the casual fans knew, and they're like, "Oh shit, Chris Jericho, he's going to be there." Like he definitely was like one of their first really, really big signings. So at least giving him like that last little hurrah run just to sort of give him like that sort of closure for the next couple of years, like give him that, like let him rebuild himself in a way to like where you can take him seriously and not feel like, oh, this guy's on my TV. All right, well, I'm going to change the channel. Like I want to see him kind of just, I'm not saying he's going to be the Chris Jericho of old, but I'm hoping to see him in a better spot than he was when he was doing the learning tree stuff, if that makes sense.
No, you're absolutely right. You mentioned like he's the thing with AEW, like the thing with them the last couple of years, they come up with a strong start every year. It's just towards the end of the year that a lot of their top guys or girls, they get injured, or they've already maxed out their matches and stories, and they just don't know what to do until the next year.
Exactly.
They just got to figure out how to spread that out instead of giving you everything all at once. And trying to hopefully they have a healthier year compared to like the last couple of years too.
Yeah, because the last couple of years with them, they've lost a lot of momentum when it came to a lot of their main event stuff and a lot of their writing, like the Death Rider stuff, like the whole thing with CM Punk, the then you had the stuff with the Elite doing the takeover thing. It's just like there was just a lot of really bad like writing and storylines that they lost a lot of momentum. There, it looks like they're getting it back. I just hope that they continue that momentum going into 2026. That they don't just peak in February or March, and like I want to see them continue that momentum. Hopefully, within 2026, which they are capable of doing so. But I do agree, Tony Khan sometimes needs to like I don't like to use the stretch things out because that's kind of Triple H's problem is he stretches out everything. But I think Tony needs to like kind of stop with like he needs to like stop giving us like all like the pay-per-view like stuff that we should be seeing on the pay-per-view on TV and we should be seeing that shit on the pay-per-view. That's just
Right.
kind of
But no, you're right. That's what he should be trying to do. I mean, I know they're not big story driven, but at least try to figure out something with some of your stars, who's going to be where, who's going to do what, and just have short stories. You know, don't have to do long term stories like WWE does. Short term, like booking, and you know, maybe it ties into something later on, maybe it doesn't, but at least do something that keeps fans' interest. But you know, don't make it like a whole like 6-month storyline.
exactly like because like I mean we're gonna be talking about what we talk about the WWE stuff, but man, like I think there needs to be a happy medium. Like you can have long term stuff, but you have to have like good like short term stuff in between, and it's just I don't know. It's just a lot of it. I feel like there just needs to be better consistency, and I hope like we see that this coming year. But however, the first couple months, we're still kind of seeing those like those issues where it just feels like we're hot shotting the belts on TV, but when we get to the pay-per-view, it's like, all right, well then who are we gonna have this person face? Oh, we're just gonna have a rematch. Well then what the fuck was the point of having her win the belt on TV then? Like
Right.
that's just as a whole, I think that's just an issue. And WWE's been suffering that problem as of late, that from what I've seen, because they're hot shotting the belt on TV, like, and then by the time we get to the pay-per-view, it's like, well, what the fuck? But does anyone have anything else to say about like Jericho re-signing with AEW, or are we good here?
I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's back with AEW. I think he made a smart move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I agree. All right. So next, Rose, I'm gonna let you take the wheel here. What's the WWE update? What's been going on the last few
Last couple of months?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's the biggest talk right now is Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Like since Cody Rhodes beat Drew McIntyre, the whole feud with Randy and Cody just hasn't worked at all. Where they now throw in like a whole like, who's Randy talking to? Who's he talking to? He's gonna have somebody on SmackDown, and then ended up being Pat McAfee, and that's been a big downer for the fans and everything. And poor Drew McIntyre, he's just gonna wrestle what's his name?
Jacob Fatu, I think.
Fatu, yeah, he is. Jacob Fatu, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Instead of wrestling for the title with Randy Orton, because that should be his moment. And that's the other thing that really hurt the other main event, or the other night one main event, is that you just kind of shoehorned Cody Rhodes in there, because obviously TKO, WWE knows like they need, this is WrestleMania, you want to put your best stars or whatever, but he doesn't need to run for a belt anymore. You could have had him wrestle Jacob Fatu and have Jacob Fatu get some kind of like rub off from Cody. You know, that makes more sense. But that's been the biggest thing like the last 24, 48 hours with that. The other thing is that's been pretty good has been Brock Lesnar and Oba family, which has been fun to watch. That is just the question. The question is, you know, is Brock Lesnar gonna give Oba family to go over at WrestleMania? That's gonna be the big question. Is he gonna let him, you know, is he gonna give him that rub off where he can win and at least try to become a bigger star? Because WWE right now, all of their champions are all like 40 plus years old. Sami Zayn just won the U.S. title over Carmelo. So nobody right now under 40 is champion. Everybody's over 40 years old. Which is concerning, and it just shows where WWE's at right now, where they just haven't been able to develop the next big superstars like we thought they could. They thought, buying out, they thought just stealing from TNA would help them out, but they just haven't used their stars right either. The only thing they have going for them right now is just Danhausen. Danhausen for the last 3 or 4, well, I would say a month, he's been the biggest talking point. He's been the biggest excitement for fans to really get behind. He didn't have a great debut, but like once people got a chance to really get to know him and see his promos, and he's just been a huge hit, and he's just made for WWE. Shout out to CM Punk or Pepsi Phil for convincing WWE to sign this guy and to give him an opportunity. But yeah, the WrestleMania 42 card right now, it's the main event's going to be Punk and Roman Reigns, which has been the most exciting thing. And I really love that match because you have these two guys who they're not afraid to walk a line between each other, and by making some reality with some of the story. I think a couple of weeks ago, Punk kind of made fun of Jey Uso for like, what are you going to do? Yeet me to death? Because that's been the thing with him. All he's been doing is eating people instead of building up. He was also the Usos were tag team champions for a short time, which I didn't even know about until I think last weekend. Then they lost the titles. So that's kind of where that's where he's been lately. Is just a big fell from grace compared to last year, where he's just back to what he used to be. It's just a tag team matches with Jimmy. Then you have the AJ Lee Becky Lynch match that no one's really talking about. No one seems to care about. Jade Cargo, who I don't think she's defended the title at all that I can remember. She's been champion for a while, but they've been doing a lot of promos between her and Rhea Ripley, but no one seems to care about it. She hasn't really been doing a good job, being champion. A lot of people are just tired of her. Then you got the Bella Twins who are back, I guess part-time. They're really trying to push the tag team division, the women's division. I think they have Nia Jax and Lash Legends teaming up. You have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss working together. You have Bayley, Valkyrie, the Bella Twins. They're really pushing the tag team women's division for WrestleMania, which is cool. But you have a lot of top stars there where they're just, they don't know what to do with them. I do like that Penta is Intercontinental Champion. I think that was a great move by them. He's the only one where you're kind of happy to see they're doing something with. And no love for LA Knight. And then you got Seth Rollins and Gunther that no one really, it's going to be a great match, but that's a match that no one's really been hyping up for. So it's been a disaster at WWE with TKO interfering, and now promoting that WrestleMania will be in, I think, Saudi Arabia next year, which I don't think no one's going to watch. I'm not going to pay attention to that one. I refuse to watch anything in Saudi Arabia. Just my opinion. Just how I feel about it.
I heard they're having a hard time selling tickets to this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the biggest story. TKO interfered with the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes by throwing Pat McAfee as the biggest, the person who's behind the scenes, and you have Jelly Roll showing up, and you're trying to get this actor or this musician to get involved. They're trying to do what Vince McMahon did with WrestleMania in the early years, where he brought in musicians, but there was a whole collab with MTV, and they really needed that.
Yeah.
This year they don't need something like that, but they're really pushing. People have no reason to be in wrestling or doing anything with wrestling besides just showing up to promote something.
Yeah, I mean, after last year, I mean, the debacle of Travis Scott, I don't know why you would even still be on that cake.
Right.
I mean, last year was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I actually want to ask you, Rome's do you think the build to this year's WrestleMania is worse than the last year's build? Because I thought last year's was horrible.
This is a lot worse. You just don't care. You might care about a couple of matches. You might care about Punk and Roman Reigns. You might care about Obafemi, Brock Lesnar. And that's about it. I mean, you really don't care about anyone else on that card. I mean, night 2 is going to be interesting because that's where you're going to have Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, and Punk and Roman Reigns, and Stephanie Van Kar and Liv Morgan. And that's again, the night 2 will be more interesting than night 1. Night 1, you're just kind of like, it's going to be a snooze fest for night 1. It's just really bad promoting. I mean, it's just TKO interfering, and then you have other people who will go above Triple H to go talk to Nick Khan, and Nick Khan will prove things without talking to Triple H. There's just so much. There's just no chain of command at all. Everybody there feels like they can go above Triple H. Like there's just no respect for that guy anymore.
I have a feeling Triple H is going to be the fall guy because, like, I think I saw someone post like I do expect Triple H to be gone within the next like year or so. Because
when got it.
I mean,
I love that The Rock took off, and so he cannot be blamed for any of this shit. After last year, he just took off, and he hasn't been seen since. So you can't place the blame on him this time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was more to him than what people even know. I mean, because it's weird how he just kind of disappeared after helping John. Oh yeah, John Cena's going to host WrestleMania 42. They're paying him a ton of money to come back to do hosting WrestleMania, which came out of nowhere. Which again, RKO out of nowhere. Like you didn't see that coming. With John Cena, they announced that like 2 weeks ago. So they're really trying to get people interested in watching WrestleMania. So obviously TKO is feeling something from ESPN. And you're right, Triple H, who's basically the Dana White for WWE, he's going to take the fall for this. I think he's trying his best, but just no one's respecting him. No one really. No one. Everybody knows they can just go to Nick Khan. Why talk Triple H? Nick Khan's the real brains.
Like. Honestly, I think WrestleMania last year was really where I was like, you know what? I think I'm good watching WWE for like a long time because last year it was really bad. Like I think we can all agree it wasn't very good.
It was very weak compared to this one coming up. WrestleMania 42 feels very weak. I think this is going to get worse.
No, and I agree. Like from the stuff I've seen, Rome's, I agree with you. It's just, it feels like they're like almost like switching plans at the last minute almost.
Because it's desperation. It's just, TKO is they're losing money left and right. Netflix, ESPN, the fans, everybody's pissed. No one's happy. They're doing all these like side deals, Saudi Arabia, when they, it's just, they're maximizing everything, not realizing long-term it's going to blow back in their face. And Tiffany Stratton's probably MIA for a while because she didn't admit, but she was talking about how she was hoping her wrestling career would end at 30 so she can launch her movie career. So if you wonder why Tiffany's not around, it's just because she's just using wrestling as a stepping stone.
Well, I'm not too mad at that because, she's still young. She's like, what, 23?
Something like that, 23, 24, yeah.
She still got time. I mean, you got to think if she wants to get into the movies, that also has a limited period of time that you can be successful in Hollywood. And plus, she may want to have kids, so you got to plan that stuff out. So, yeah, I don't mind if she wants it to be a stepping stone. And there's not like there's a whole bunch of other girls coming up that can replace her. So,
But I'm happy for Trick Williams. At least he's kind of moving up now. He's been one guy that you just been wondering what they're going to do with. He's wrestling Sami Zayn for the United States Championship at WrestleMania, so I'm happy for him. There's just no hype around it. He should. I mean, there's just no hype around it. Sami Zayn beats Carmelo, and it's like it should be Carmelo and Trick, but they want to give Sami Zayn something to do. And that's the other thing, too. I think Punk in an interview that I listened to, I think a couple of months ago, talked about how, like, it's really different. Like, even if you're a champion, you're not making more money. You're just making the same pay rate. So I think because there's lack of motivation to move up, you're just seeing people just being fine where they are.
Which is crazy because how expensive everything is nowadays and how they're pricing out the fans, yet the superstars are not getting, a raise or anything. It's just the same.
It's WCW. Oh yeah, it's WCW all over again. You got guaranteed money and no motivation. Like, okay, cool, I'll show up. I'll do something. You want me to do something really stupid? Makes no sense. Sure, why not? I mean, at least you're paying me, $2 million a year just to do something stupid, or just have me sit down and do nothing.
Yeah, and we've talked about how TKO is like overpricing everything and left and right, and in a time when people really don't have, especially families, they don't have a lot of money to go see the shows, or even $30 is a big ask for a pay-per-view when we were conditioned to pay like anywhere between like $2 to $10 for it, depending on what type of deal you got with Peacock and the WWE Network. It's just too expensive now. And this rolls into a little rant here. 2K26, they are nickel and diming the fans to death on that game, and it's pitiful. They have a battle pass now to unlock stuff that you could just pay a small fee to unlock back in the day, or you could unlock from just playing the game, but now you got to grind over periods of times, or you could pay to unlock the next tier. And they said if you want to unlock everything right now, it would cost you like $1,000 to level all the way up, which is insane, because
That's
you
wild.
could just, back in the day, you could just pay $5 or $10 to get the unlock key or whatever to unlock everything right then and there. If you didn't want to play the modes to unlock this, it's stupid.
Yeah.
There's no reason to buy the games anymore. Well,
The
there's
other
no
thing-
reason.
Oh,
Plus
sorry.
the PS5 situation, that's even, it makes it even more stupid. But yeah, it's crazy.
I was listening to someone else, another quick, it was like a short clip or something, I think from CVV or somewhere out there. Someone pointed out they're not doing that many house shows anymore, which is concerning, because you're also worried about performance when they're out wrestling. You're not going to get the best matches from WWE anymore. I mean, besides the guys who's been doing it for so long, they'll give you something. I mean, the most LA Knight last year, who's 44 or whatever, he wrestled the most last year. And that was only 68 matches.
Man.
Compared to if you go back, let's say 10 years ago when Vince was still running things, you had people doing house shows all the time. They were wrestling maybe 130 or 300, every day, essentially wrestling a 15-minute house show match for audiences. They don't do those things anymore. They just show up and just do conventions or show up and sign stuff, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So that's another concerning thing, where that's going to be a big, that's going to really like hurt them, in the long run too. When you have guys who are like AJ Styles, who retired, and Roman Reigns is on his way out, CM Punk's going to be on his way out, Cody can only give you maybe another 2 good years. They're really depending on threads right now for something, because I mean they're falling pretty fast.
Yeah, I wonder, outside of sports. I don't much less sports, so I don't know how the attendance are there. But I wonder how shows outside of sports are doing in arenas. Like, we know wrestling is hurting, and we also know that the movie theaters are having a tough time. So maybe it's just how easy it is to just chill at home, and that maybe some factors that came up during the pandemic is still a factor. I don't know, but
it's still a possibility. But I'll say this: people will go to see concerts, and they will pay stupid money to see someone
Taylor
performing.
Swift.
So it's like Taylor Swift. It could be the next artist out there. I mean, I know where I live at, those concerts get sold out pretty quickly. So there's people who are willing to spend money. It's just they want to see something that's going to be worth their time. I mean, right now WWE is not worth their time.
No.
They'll probably go to Boston more. They're going to go to Chicago more, New York more, and that's where they're going to get the big houses. They're not going to get it somewhere like in Jacksonville or somewhere like a small town where they normally used to do things.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even go to Worcester anymore to do stuff because they can't sell Worcester anymore. That's nearby me as well.
I mean, you would think, like, based off everything that's going on, like, you would think like, oh, maybe we shouldn't overprice tickets, and yet WWE is still and TKO are still overpricing their tickets. And what makes it worse is that you're trying to sell me 4 match PLEs and like you're expecting people to spend premium prices for like the seating. It makes no sense.
No.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even it's not even wrestling anymore. It's just ads.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean Danhausen the only right now. Your best promos is Danhausen, who's everywhere. You have LA Knight, who they don't know how to use anymore. And I think that Unreal thing that they have on Netflix really hurt them as well because you're seeing stuff you shouldn't be seeing.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of even watching the show now with that? I mean, they done yanked the curtain so far back on the Wizard of Oz. I mean, there's no secrecy or anything now. It's just, oh my God, Vince probably has pulled his hair out. What he's got now is a wig because what are you doing?
Like, honestly, if Vince was dead, he'd be rolling over in his grave.
There's a lot of people that wants him to buy the company back.
I want him. I really want him to interview somewhere and get his story out there about what happened from his end, but also talk about where wrestling's at if he even pays attention to what's going on.
You know what? I think I think I'm more in his camp now after things has came up in the last couple of months than I was earlier, because it seems like that she kind of took advantage of the situation.
Oh, of course she did.
Yeah.
I mean, I still blame him for everything that's happened. He thought selling to TKO would at least get him back control of the company. Instead, it backfired him again. That's how we got here.
Yeah. In a way, it's almost like when I don't like using it because again, it's two different situations, but it feels like when Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, it's two completely different animals now. Where
at least I'm still watching. I'm still watching Star Wars.
Well, I'm just making that comparison as if you look at like where we were with Vince to now, it's like, I'm not saying what Vince did was good. I mean, we can all agree like the really bad years of Vince McMahon over the last decade was really bad. Like, he was out of touch. You could tell. Like, I know people like to credit him as, oh, he's a genius. Let's call it for what it is. It's not so much he's a genius. He's stubborn. Like, he stole
ideas and bought other talent to like, people forget, like, when you look at his history, like, all he did was just stole talent from all the other wrestling companies that back in the day, and just that's what he did. He didn't have any good ideas. Any ideas that happened were all by accident. Nothing was like pure genius.
Exactly. And and I know people are like, oh, well, the Attitude Era was no. Like, if Vince had his way, the WWF still would have been doing the shit they were doing in 1995.
Right, and it took Bischoff and WCW to change things, where he had no choice but to adapt. They forced his hand and took all his talent away from him.
And even then, like, Vince, like, he was so stubborn because Vince's thing was, because the Attitude Era, like, even before, like, the Attitude Era really got going, because I know, like, in 96, like, they brought in Goldust, they did the stuff with Brian Pillman, like, they were starting to get to that point, but Vince was still stuck in those old ways of like, oh no, we gotta be doing stuff like the Billionaire Ted skits and fake Razor and Diesel. And Vince, yes, to an extent, he's a genius in the sense of he wouldn't be as far as he is if he wasn't a good businessman. But at the same time, he's not as smart as people make him out to be.
Well, I think the Billionaire Ted stuff and the fake Razor Diesel stuff was fine. If you were watching it at the time, it was fine. Looking back on it now, it's very strange. But it kept you like, what's going on? What is he doing? Especially the fake Razor and Diesel stuff. It was lame, but at the same time, I can't believe they're doing this. What are they doing? And you kept wanting to tune in to see how bad it would get. I mean, so it did work in some respects. But,
I mean, he got very lucky with Steve Austin just coming up with the promo, just coming up with his character, because they didn't know what to do with him when he got there. He was just supposed to be there to be how he called a mechanic to help other guys to get better. He was just an accident. It was just like an idea that just, that he had from his ex-wife, and then the promo he shot at King of the Ring was just, it just came out of nowhere because he didn't know what he was going to say. He just used 316 and kind of ran with it. And then next thing you know, for the whole year after he got white hot, or just the biggest thing in wrestling, Vince still didn't know what to do with him. I mean, he had him wrestling for Intercontinental Champions while he was still pushing Bret Hart, which I get, Bret Hart's Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels, but he didn't know what to do with a big attraction like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, and even then, like Steve Austin's rise to the top was more so coincidence than really anything. Because I mean, if the curtain call didn't happen, like Austin 316 wouldn't have happened at King of the Ring because Triple H would have won King of the Ring, and then if Shawn didn't pull the I need to find my smile thing, then it would have been Bret and Shawn at Mania, and Austin would have been doing something else. So I mean, I'm not saying he would have gotten big, but he wouldn't have gotten huge.
Yeah, it could have been for WrestleMania 14. It could have been Triple H and Shawn Michaels going against each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, we should definitely do a whole maybe some other time a Vince McMahon. Was he really a genius? Discussion. And just look back at his 50-year career.
I'd love to break this man down because it's like it's like this guy is such he is like such a big reason like why wrestling is what it is today. But like this guy is like he's fucking batshit crazy. Like he's not normal.
Yeah. No, he's not. I call him the devil himself, Mr. Satan. Like he really is. Like, but he just knows how to sell. He knows how to promote. I mean, he was the first one who discovered how to do cable TV before no one knew how to do cable TV.
Yeah, exactly. Like Vince, man, I feel like that's gonna be a topic for another stream because I genuinely Vince is just a fucking fascinating character, like as a whole. But no, it just TKO really. They haven't done themselves any favors. I think I agree with you. The build's not very good. Like the very few highlights, like that are there. Like I saw Penta won the IC title. I'm like, all right, good for him. I'm glad to see Penta's finally getting something here. It sucks that Ray Phoenix can't get anything going, but hey, I appreciate them like giving Penta something, and I'm glad to see. I like seeing Javon Evans getting some like love a little bit because like I'm a big DPW guy, so I'm glad to see he's coming up, and like Trick Williams, like I feel like there's a lot of highlights there, and I think there's a lot of things that there's a lot of things that WWE could be doing right. It feels like they do more wrong than right, and it overshadows what they're doing.
Right, it's like WCW. It's just hey, we can go to Triple H, but we don't want to. If we don't agree with what Triple H wants to do, we can just go over him and go talk to Nick Khan.
Exactly.
Or we can call Ari Emanuel, or Ari Emanuel can come down going, hey, the numbers are right. Throw A, B, C, and D, who makes absolutely no reason to be in wrestling or be part of it, but we need to get people to watch our product. Let's bring John Cena and let's throw a couple $1 million at him just to host WrestleMania for us so we can get people to buy our tickets.
Yeah, like, and also like they finally got fucking Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. Finally, I'm like, all right, well, there you go. I mean, it's like 2 years too late, but hey, I appreciate them finally doing something with Finn Balor.
He's wrestling Dom at WrestleMania 42, by the way.
I really wish they would have just split that group into two teams. Let what's his face? Who's the original leader? What's his face? It
was Damian Priest or Rhea Ripley. One of the two.
Yeah, they should have had Damian and Rhea stay and kept the group, and then had everybody else who doesn't fit in the group go start their own group, and they could have just had.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it Edge, Rhea, and Damian in the beginning, and then now it's more for just something. It's like NWO in some sense, where like you just got rid of all your founders. Why are we still doing this?
Yeah, Damon, he's not well. Yeah, well, he won the tag titles, didn't he, with R-Truth?
Yeah,
he did. Yesterday. No one cares, by the way, about Damon Priest. He's another that fell from grace too.
I know that sucks. So that's man,
it sucks because like. I know everyone's like, oh, Damian Priest was never that good. I'm like, bro, Damian Priest was actually great. Like, I like Damian Priest.
Same.
Yeah.
There's something there with them. They just don't know how to flush it out.
Exactly.
I don't know. I kind of hope that he gets into acting because I think he has a great presence. I don't think his hair is going to work for a lot of roles, but if he can cut it off, I think he has the right size and the right look. Hell, I think he would maybe make a good Terminator in a movie or something like that. He's got a good presence about him that if he
Same
got
with
into
Pepsi
movies.
Phil. Same with Pepsi Phil. I'm kind of like, okay, like you got your main event, you got this. Like, what do you want? He's pretty good at acting. I was watching on Night Patrol, and I watched some other stuff that he was in, and I'm like, he could act pretty well. Like Batista said that he's a good actor, and you can kind of see what he's talking about.
Did you see that movie where he bought that haunted house?
No, I saw he was in a movie like 2 months ago, where he played a vampire. There's like a lot of crooked police who were just basically vampires at night. It's a B-list kind of movie, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a low budget movie. It was like a girl on a third floor or something. It was weird.
But he's another one. I'm kind of like, okay, like you got your main event, you're a champion for X amount of time. They're giving you your dues. Just after WrestleMania 42, it's just walk away for a while.
Yeah.
And his contract's up, I think, by the end of the year too.
Oh,
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interesting. All right. So I think now it's time to talk about WrestleMania 14. So like I was telling these guys earlier beforehand and backstage, we're not going to be like breaking down the matches. We're just going to be talking about the matches. We'll give our star ratings. Then we'll do like some calculations, like see what we'll grade the match there, and then we'll like score the show, kind of same thing. Yeah, let's talk WrestleMania 14. There is, I believe, I think it was like 8 matches, I think, on WrestleMania 14, which is
That's correct. 8 matches. Yep.
yeah.
Which is more matches that you'll ever see on a current day WWE pay-per-view.
Yes,
so
yes, 8 matches, and 100 Brian Christopher references.
Yes, a lot of Brian Christopher references, especially during the light heavyweight title match, which we'll talk about. Most of the matches were title matches too. So you know what, WWE, there's no excuse anymore as to why you can't put any of your titles on these pay-per-views, because if they didn't, well, okay. In fairness, there's less titles than there was, is now, but you could still put a bit more effort. Maybe put a tag title match on your pay-per-view once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, just saying.
Or bring back the pre-shows. Bring back the pre-show matches, because we got used to those for years, and they don't do them no more.
No. I just don't. I don't know why they got rid of them. Like,
I mean, you had a good card of WrestleMania 14. When you look back at it, it's like this is, I mean, there's just so much importance. It really turned around how people saw WWE and brought in so many fans after it too. Just bringing Mike Tyson was like the biggest thing, because he was suspended or whatever was going on. Bringing him on board, it got so many people interested in what was going on in wrestling.
I would go as far as to say, like, do I think it's like the overall best WrestleMania of all time? No. But I think it's probably one of the most important ones 100%. Because of what the show represents, because this show needing to kind of jumpstart Steve Austin's main event meteoric, right? Like, granted, he's been like there for a while, but this kind of cemented him as like he's going to be the top guy moving forward. And then introducing Mike Tyson into it. And this show is important for a lot of things too, but I feel like it is objectively one of the more important WrestleManias up to this point. Because I think every WrestleMania, to an extent, certain ones were important. Obviously WrestleMania 1 was important because, again, it's the first one. WrestleMania 3 was important because it was, it was the big, show in the Silver Dome. With Hogan and Andre, and then you had some of the other ones, but this I feel like was important in establishing Steve Austin while also showcasing like, okay, here are the talents that we're going to be using moving forward. And throughout the show, you see like a lot of things like we're going to be talking about the Rock stuff, during this, because this is like the show where you really start to see the Rock's personality start to come out, and like you start to see because like, and it's also weird, like, because I might do like a thing where we'll like talk about like what they were doing by the end of the year, and it's crazy to see where like guys like The Rock were at this stage and then where they are at the end of the year, because at this show, like The Rock's firmly in the mid card as the Intercontinental Champion, and then like and then in November of the same year he's the WWF Champion. So it's really interesting to look and see like where we were in the timeline when it comes to the WWF. So we'll talk about that thoroughly.
The other thing I want to add is just like Shawn Michaels leaving after this, and Triple H reshaping DX to D-Generation X too. That was another thing that happened. Just the aftermath of WrestleMania 14. That was another thing that changed too. It's just DX perception of like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, China went from Triple H being a leader with Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, and then that whole launch too. They just reshaped that, just to throw that in there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like even seeing like where Triple H is at this stage, like again, like he's really just a mid-card guy. Like he's like European champion. Like he's not even that. But then like he goes on to have this feud with The Rock in the summer, which obviously has that really great ladder match at SummerSlam. And then, by the next year, like Triple H, is out of DX and he's starting his main event push. So there's a lot of moving pieces going into 1990. Like 98, like I feel like as a whole, I think is probably the best year for the Attitude Era when it came to like Steve Austin's part of it. Because like 99 is a clusterfuck with a lot of really bad, dumb stuff. And then 2000 was like another really hot year for them, but that was like without Steve Austin at the helm. So
2000 we should talk about another time too. I mean, when Austin went down, you had not just the Rock and Triple H, but you had Mick Foley, you had Undertaker, you even had Kurt Angle, Big Show, everybody like really pushing to be that next guy.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of things to talk about within this time period, but obviously we're going to be talking about the show as a whole. We'll talk more about that. Before we start, I gotta say I really do kind of like the stage they had. It was like the circle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that looked it's simplistic, but I like it. I don't know why.
Excuse me.
It's just a little niche for me. So like obviously we're gonna break down the matches. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the tag team battle royal. I don't really have much to say. This match was more so just about the Legion of Doom coming back.
Yep.
As LOD 2000, which obviously the run was cursed because like they had Sunny with them, and then I think she leaves very shortly after.
Yeah. It's funny when you see Sunny coming down the ring. You're just like, man, they just use her everywhere. Hey, you're gonna be with them for tonight, and tomorrow you're gonna be with someone else. They're just throwing her over for a candy eye.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, I had such a crush on her. And I hadn't seen her in as good a shape in years. And I watching it back, I'm like, man, she's hot. But at the same time, as I'm like, oh, she's so hot, I had Gollum pop up in my ear like murderer, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she killed some people. Okay,
like a very like sad fall from grace. With her.
Yeah, it's terrible. But still, I would have pulled her anyway from the Hall of Fame after the shit she talked about Bailey and stuff. So
yeah,
she's a terrible human being.
No, she is. But
sorry, I forgot that the Midnight Express was in there too when I was watching that. I'm like, oh shoot, Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express, like they were fun back in the day.
They said the Quebecers was in there. I didn't know the Quebecers was there in '98. Did they have like a return to the WWE?
I don't know. Maybe it was like a one-time thing because I don't remember them doing a whole lot after that.
No, this match was like they threw in a lot of different tag teams. This was all about the Legion of Doom coming back, and they were the biggest thing. And then the Midnight Express was just another well-known, but everybody else was just kind of thrown together.
Yeah. And then you had like obviously like the LD came back and hot take like the LD 2000 thing, it didn't work, but I did like their kind of redesign almost. Like I know like I think they've gone on record saying Hawk didn't like the biker helmets. I thought the motorcycle helmets looked cool.
Yeah, it was a mess.
It was.
It didn't doing the drunken falling from the stage storyline and
that was bad.
Bringing draws. Hey, he's gonna puke. Yeah, it
was a mess. But I like the redesign. Like I like that, you know, they kind of like it like they looked like an updated versions of themselves, which I really liked. I just think the overall like the way they booked them after this just it didn't work. The match itself, it's kind of hard to judge a battle royal because a lot of it is moving parts. It felt like it was a clusterfuck at points because like there'd be points where wrestlers were in the ring and like apparently if like one got eliminated then the whole team got eliminated, but then there would be people still in the ring and then they'd be eliminating people off screen. It was a clusterfuck until the end, and then like they had LD like do like because then they get attacked by the Godwins and then they do the big comeback, bada bing, bada boom, they win, and then they go on to face whoever the tag team champions are at the next pay-per-view, even though they were like, oh, originally they were going to have them face them on Raw. This is something I listened to like on the commentary. They're like, oh yeah, they're going to be facing the champions tomorrow night. And then literally I think like shortly thereafter, like, oh no, they're going to be facing the champions at the next pay-per-view at Unforgiven in your house.
So was it LOD 2000 versus Cactus Jack and
Terry Funk? Yeah, they're the tag team. That's who it was, Terry Funk.
No, actually no, because I'll explain why they didn't do this, but I think it was they did New Age Outlaws and LOD at the Unforgiven pay-per-view.
Oh, because if it was Terry Funk and Cactus Jack, I would have went back and watched that match. That sounds like it would have been a good match.
But no, because it was Chainsaw Charlie, wasn't that Terry Funk?
Yeah.
They won it here at the 14, but during the middle of the match or at the beginning of the match, they did basically say, yeah, it's Chainsaw Charlie, but it's Terry Funk. Let's just call him Terry Funk.
Yeah, again, like we'll talk about that stuff after, but as far as a match goes, I can't really rate this too high because it's just not great. It didn't look good. I gave it a 1.75 out of 5. I don't think it was
Jesus.
It's not
okay.
It's not okay. It may be really low, but I don't think it was horrible. It's just not great. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know we begin that technical with the stars like 1.75. Okay, yeah.
It's just a drop kick thing for me, like because like I have drop kicked and I review matches and like they have like that kind of scale. So I mean, you guys can like do it like however you guys want to do it. I'm just doing it kind of.
Okay.
What did you guys think?
Thought it was just fine. I mean, it's WrestleMania. You're going to put some big names out there. I thought it was just fine. It was kind of like how it was in the 90s. They were just trying to put something together.
Yeah, I give it like maybe 2.5, maybe 2. Yeah, 2 stars maybe.
Okay, 2 out of 5. Rome's, what do you give this?
The Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
The tag team battle royal.
Oh, that probably a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
I mean, it was just again, these are just guys who were just they were just called in to make a quick paycheck because they had nothing else to do.
I agree. So next we got the light heavyweight championship match of Taka Michinoku and I can't pronounce his name. Aguila. Does anybody want to talk about this match or?
No, I was surprised to get on the card.
It was fine. It felt like a random WCW cruiserweight match. It was just it was good, but it wasn't it it was all right.
I mean, they did do some cool stuff. Like I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it wasn't anything to like. It was short too, which is not, which doesn't really help the grade. I mean, they do some cool moves. I mean, there were some cool spots. I would just say overall it wasn't great. Like it was fine. It was fun, but nothing that I would really go back and rewatch. I give it like a 2.5 out of 5, just because I feel like I think it could have been more, but it just felt nah.
They give it 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it wasn't a bad match, just was a very forgettable match.
All right. Shifty.
Oh, okay. 2.5.
Okay. So I think it's 2.5s across the board. So we'll just go a 2.5 out of 5. All right, and then next up we have the European Championship, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, because that's what they call him on the show. It wasn't just Triple H; it was Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, against Owen Hart, where the stipulation was if Sergeant Slaughter had to be handcuffed to China, or China had to be handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, there was a whole storyline with Sergeant Slaughter and DX and his anger towards China or something. There was a whole thing built up going into that match.
So again, the match itself, I thought for what it was good. It's not anything I don't think it's Owen Hart's best match. I don't think it's Triple H's best match, but I thought it was solid. I do think, and this is just me, I think the wrong person won here. I think Owen should have won, because I just feel like with the story they were presenting, and then having, the whole thing with Owen's ankle being broken, and then like doing the whole thing with Owen being the last Hart, which I don't know. Like I thought like Jerry Lawler's commentary throughout the show just came off very insufferable. And like the digs like that he was taking at the Hart family, which I feel like I know, because I know we know like now like Vince McMahon's like in what was in like commentators' ears. Like I don't know if like he was being fed that stuff or if Jerry Lawler was just doing it, but I'm thinking about him like, man, this was like very shortly after Montreal. Like it was only a few months after Montreal. I'm like, oh man, like this kind of feels like, I'm not saying it was intentional, but it could have been, but it just came off like, man, a little too soon here, guys. But I think the way, like it, first of all, it sucked already that Owen never got to feud with Shawn after Montreal, and after all that happened, and not really being able to have a payoff there, and then having Owen lose here to Triple H, and then like he lost the belt on Raw, and then like not getting the win back just felt, I don't know, it just felt kind of lame. I felt like the finish just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like then you have China, like she had the powder, and then like she just threw it in Sergeant Slaughter's face, a low blows Owen, and that was it. I was like, it's like, okay, like the match itself I thought was straightforward and fine, but I wish we could have. I think if the finish was better, I think, and the right person won, I think I would have graded this higher. I give this match like a 3 out of 5. I mean, there's a decent story with the ankle, but I just wish that I wish Owen won here.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it was an awkward situation for Owen Hart.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because I think because Owen couldn't leave, because everyone left, like the Hart Foundation, they left, and then like Owen was kind of put in a spot of like, well, he probably could leave, but he couldn't, so then he had to stay, and then that just led into the last couple of years of his career where they just didn't know like what to do with them, and then it almost felt like a humiliation ritual at points, because it's like you're punishing him for something that wasn't even his fault.
Well, supposedly he was going to get the game gimmick.
But that's just rumor. But that's kind of why we say supposedly, because like, I don't know, like the way that they were booking him in '99, I highly doubt he was going to get that gimmick.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. They say he was.
They say it.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt they would have. I mean, at that point, I just don't know if no, they definitely wouldn't have. I mean, the way they were booking him throughout of '99, it just, no.
They were just kind of, because he's Bret Hart's brother, they were just putting him as a punching bag. He needed to make a living, so he accepted it.
And that's all it was. Like, it just didn't work. And it's disappointing. And like I said, it was a decent match. I just think that I just wish it could have been more and that the right person won.
Right.
What do you guys think?
3.
I give it a 3.
3 out of 5. All right. Great minds think alike. All right, and then the next match is the mixed tag match with Mark Mero, the marvelous one, Mark Mero, not Johnny B. Bad, not the Wildcat, but marvelous Mark Mero and Sable versus Luna Vachon and the artist formerly known as Goldust. Oy vey, man, poor Dustin Rhodes. That's all I have to say. Dustin Rhodes.
I think this match was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it was very depressing. I hate how Dustin was so good on the mic, and he had such a presence about him, and I hated. No one saw what he could be, and they placed him in this role as Goldust, and it was terrible. I hated it from the beginning. I mean, he got good later on when he did the comic routines with Booker T and stuff, but
yeah,
he could have been so much bigger. He could have been what Cody Rhodes is today, but legitimate, believable. He was so good on the mic. He was such a good wrestler too, and he had the size. He just got fucked over. He got fucked over because his dad was one of the biggest guys in the industry, and man, it's such a shame seeing him here out of shape, wearing what he's wearing. He's probably hopped up on drugs because he had problems during the time. He's coming off of the divorce, and it's sad. The match is fun though. The match is a lot of fun though. And
Dustin, really being a true professional, just did everything. He went out there and gave you the best version of what Goldust could be at that time.
And Sable, I know, became a huge bitch behind the scenes months later to Luna, but here in this match, she stole the show. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it was even better than the previous match. I think I give it a 3.5. I liked it a lot.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
And you notice that her finisher that she got off Mark Mero, it's like a reverse F5.
It kind of did the way that she had it done. I think this match, I agree, it was fun for what it was. I mean, it's depressing in more ways than one because, I mean, first of all, Sable got probably one of the louder reactions of the show. I think she had just as big a reaction as like Steve Austin did.
She was the biggest thing from women's diva back then. I mean, everybody loved her. She was the new thing where people just stopped caring about Sunny.
Yeah.
And when she did Playboy, man, everybody was trying to find that issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But it sucks because like Mark Mero, who was really good in his own right, he never got out of that proverbial like shadow of Sable, and his career kind of floundered after that. Like, it was bad to the point where they were even doing a storyline where Mark Merrill was jealous of Sable. Like, I mean, I get what they were going for, but again, it felt like Mark. I'm not saying he was going to be more than what he was, because he probably wasn't. But the guy had a good physique. He was a good wrestler. I mean, I'm not. Do I think he would have been a main event talent? Probably not.
No. And that's why Austin refused to wrestle with him again, because he's just, Austin's Austin. It's like, I'm not wrestling this guy anymore, because those two were in matches. They're in so many matches together.
Yeah. And, I wish that he was able to do more in his career than what he ended up doing.
I wish he went back to WCW, but he probably burned bridges there when he left. He probably could have had a run there. If Rick Martel can have a comeback run in WCW, Mark Merrow could have.
Yeah, too. And I was watching a video on Rick Martel's comeback run, and I'm thinking about him man, if this guy didn't get hurt, he probably, I'm not saying he would have been a main event guy, but I think the guy could have been he could have been a really high mid card guy.
Oh yeah, he had something there with him.
Yeah. But you had the stuff with Mark Merrow, and like we mentioned with Dustin, it's just, man, the artist formerly known as Goldust, I don't know what it was, but it just felt like they were just it almost felt like they were trying to get him to quit. You were putting him these humiliating things every week, whether it be his ideas or someone else's, probably Vince Russo's, because he's weird like that.
No, it was Vince Russo, definitely. No, it definitely was, because when he went to WCW and Vince Russo was in charge, he gave him that Dark City gimmick, and he hated that. And man, Russo.
So it's just, again, it's depressing. And like you said, Shifty, it's depressing. Knowing where he is at this stage of his life, Jesus, the guy. You watch some of his early WCW stuff, and it's really good. And then, even the Goldust stuff at the beginning, but it was, at the time, it was edgy, it was, new and fresh. And then you get this, and it's ugh. That.
I have so much respect for him, and I feel so bad for him that if I was a world champion, if I was, a big guy in the business, I would fight tooth and nail to drop the title to him, at least for a short period of time, to give him a world title run. Because he deserved it. They did all that whole storyline with the Miz and Jerry Lawler. That's what they should have done with Dustin at some point, but actually have him win.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And Luna played her part. The match itself is fun. I do think the match goes on a little too long for my liking. I think this match would have benefited more if this was shorter, if that makes sense. I'm not saying it needed to be 2 minutes, but I think if it was maybe 5 minutes where everyone could get their shit in, and then
So the runtime for this match was 9 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think this probably actually ran long. It ran over, and because the next match is really, really short. So I'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah, because I got some things to say about the next match. I mean, overall, it's fine. I thought it was fun. I give it a slightly lower score. I give it a 3 out of 5. Okay.
That's where I'm at. 3 out of 5 for this match.
I give it a 3.5. I liked it.
So we'll do that. All right. Now, before we talk about the next match, there's a couple things I want to talk about that happened before the match.
Yes.
There's obviously that Rock promo with Jennifer.
Oh, that was earlier in the show. That was.
That was earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But still, with Jennifer Flowers, that interview really show like you start to really see the Rock's personality start to come through. Like you start to see the Rock isms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, he's like saying stuff like, oh, like he's like talking in the third person, like, oh, the Rock would do this and the Rock would do, because like she's talking about the whole thing with him, you know, oh, what would you do if you took office? And he was like talking about like the homeless people, and the Rock's like, well, if the Rock, you know, was dealing with the homeless situation, as long as it doesn't, you know, ruin my mansion, then the Rock says those trailer park pieces of trash can go away, is all for all I'm concerned. And like you start to see those Rockisms start to come out. Like this is where I think the Rock started to find like that, where it started to click.
Right.
And that promo really, I think, started to set him apart from everything. And this is where he started to get like not like big, but and even like when he was walking to the ring, like he does the people's eyebrow, like when he was entering the ring. And then, but then before the match too, like there was like this whole thing where I think it was the same person, like Jennifer Flowers, I think. But then Jeff Jarrett came out for some reason.
But see, this is part where I remember we reviewed this at some point somewhere, or at least I didn't, and I don't know how I reviewed WrestleMania 14 because I swear to God it was with you, Austin, because we had the conversation about Tennessee Lee, because I said I didn't know Tennessee Lee was in WWF. I only remember him as Robert Parker in WCW. So I'm having flashbacks. It may be a Mandela effect where I reviewed it in some alternate reality. I don't know.
Oh, it's possible, because to tell you the truth, I didn't know that. To be honest, I kind of forgot he was really with the. I didn't even know he was with the WWE.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Which I thought was very weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you had that, and then like they had this whole thing that it almost felt like the segment was going to go on a little longer, and then it just didn't. And then it was just like, oh, we got to get to the next match. Sorry. Like, because then it was like, oh, we need to do like a collab together or something, and I'm just like, okay. So next we have The Rock and Ken Shamrock. I'm just going to make the short and sweet. I thought the match was way too short, and the finish was stupid.
You said it. You said it short and sweet. That's why I like it. I think I think it had a lot of action. It was fast. It was fast paced. It ended stupid, yet it was one of those crazy WWE finishes. I like that. That was my jam back in the day. Another match I had a lot of fun with because it was short and sweet, and then it carried into a brawl to the back. It was fine. It's probably because the match beforehand ran too long, but you know, crazy me liking it so much. I give it a 4.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Yeah, I like it.
I give it an incomplete. It was a fun match, but it was just not enough to really. I don't know. I give it an incomplete. It was fun, but it was an incomplete.
I think my problem with the match is I think they did the same finish they did at the Royal Rumble, I think, where they had Rock lose the belt and then they switched the finish because like something happened. I don't know. I felt like this was kind of a cheap way to get out of like this feud when they really should have just had like The Rock drop the belt.
See, you're bringing in extracurricular activities into the stuff. I can't remember what happened at the Royal Rumble and what happened after. I'm just judging it based on the pay-per-view.
Right. No. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah. I just, because I remember watching like an Attitude Era like DVD, and I think The Rock and Shamrock at the Rumble was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like no, it was a brass knuckles. So but it's still a similar finish where it's a DQ count out finish. Honestly, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. I think it's probably one of the weaker matches of the show. I wish that. Really? I just think the finish was just kind of dull.
I liked it.
It was kind of lame. Like, I mean, the aftermatch stuff I thought was interesting, like with Shamrock beating up everybody, and The Rock and like saying, "Farouk, I need help," and then Farouk's like, "No, go fuck yourself, dude." And also, like those unprotected chair shots that Shamrock was taking, like across the face. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rock gave zero fucks about safety back then.
No.
Nope.
Like Shamrock.
I think that's part of the reason why people were kind of hesitant to work with him.
Yeah.
Oh, probably, absolutely. So Rome's like, what'd you give this match? Did you just give it like an incomplete or
incomplete? It was a fun moment. It was mainly about The Rock and just The Rock finally becoming his own. But it was just a short-lived match. It should have had a couple more minutes, but
yeah.
It was really about The Rock being The Rock. That's really it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But it definitely launched him into what he becomes later on in that year, which is why I think it was also an important part of WrestleMania 14.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like, you saw his direction going up, and you saw Kid Shamrock, who says he was promised a lot of things, and The Rock just came in and just kind of stomped all over it, physically and literally.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you, my friend. So, next up, we have a tag team dumpster match where it was Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, but he was really Terry Funk because he wasn't dressed up as Chainsaw Charlie against the New Age Outlaws. I'm just going to be upfront and say this was really fun.
It was.
It's batshit crazy. Like there was like one spot where like Cactus Jack does like a flip, but then like he hits the edge of the garbage or the dumpster can, and then there's like a really cool like ladder spot where like they were like on top of the ladder, but then I think they both fall like off the ladder into the dumpster. It's like, holy shit, that was cool. And then of course you have the finish, which then the next night they're like, well, we got to vacate the belts because technically the dumpster they put them in wasn't the dumpster that was sanctioned in the match. Which I thought that was kind of stupid, but whatever. I had fun with this. I think this was probably one of the more fun matches of the show. I give this match a 3.5 out of 5.
That's about where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there too. I make it maybe 3.8, but anything with Mick Foley and Terry Funk's always fun.
I agree. 1,000%. So before we even continue here, there were a couple of like promo packages where it was like it almost felt like WWF propaganda almost. Where it's like where it's like the Steve Austin was like, you can't lace my boots, and like they were talking about like the injuries, and there was one that I really liked was like the legends like Gorilla Monsoon and like Freddie Blassie, like that one I thought was really, really cool. But that was just a me like little side tangent. Like I like those. And then we get to the co-main event, which was Undertaker and Kane in their first like really big match. Cause like I know they've wrestled before, but that was when like Kane was like fake Diesel and like he was like the Christmas creature and all that fun stuff. So like we get to see Kane and Undertaker like as Kane and Undertaker. Before the match, of course, is the start of the feud between Pete Rose and Kane. So that's of course something to
I
know.
love those moments. Pete Rose and Kane.
Man, what a duo that is.
So Pete Rose got paid, I think, like $50,000 just to come in to do that whole thing.
And he took a tombstone too, which looked
I think it was 50,000. I think it was 50 or 5,000. It was something, why not? He'll come in and take a tombstone.
Yeah, it was a decent amount. Like it had to have been if you're taking it like a spot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 50,000 because it was 1998, and he wasn't that's like 10 years or more removed from him being a ball player. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd been a little bit lower than that.
Yeah, and so that was a gnarly spot, and then you had the match with Taker and Kane, which I feel like this match was more about story than it really was anything else. The match was more so about Kane beating the shit out of Undertaker. Like he's more powerful, but yet Taker had to basically. It's almost like he had to survive to even beat Kane, which I thought was something which I thought was very interesting because if you look at the attention to detail, like Kane was kicking the shit out of him for like 90% of the match. And so you had Kane like he's like destroying him throughout the match. Like Kane like Taker does like the big dive and like he goes through a table, which I thought was like holy shit, that was cool for the time. And like Taker's like fighting from underneath, and it took 3 tombstones, which at the time was like almost like unheard of because like the first
Mm-hmm.
one's like okay, it beats you. The second one's like very rare, and then the third one's like what the fuck? Like what do you mean? And even then, the third one he barely beat Kane. Like it was like by a millisecond that he was miraculously beat him, and then of course they have the Inferno match at the following pay-per-view. But I found this match like the build and the story I thought was interesting. The match itself, like, is it a tremendous match? No. But I think it's a solid story-driven match. I give it a 3 out of 5.
We give it a 4 out of 5. The Pete Rose stuff was fun, and it kind of had this whole thing with Pete Rose and Kane that launched into the next WrestleMania and the next one after that. So it was fun.
I give it a 5 out of 5. I thought it was great.
Oh,
I thought
that's fair. That's fair.
I thought the storyline. It's the freaking Avengers, man. It's your top superhero versus your top super villain. That's basically what they were. Ripped like characters like that. It felt like they just were straight out of the comic books, and they're doing their storyline on TV right there. And you got
for me, I think this mastermind.
was.
Yep. Sorry, Shifty. I was going to say this for me. You could say this was a match of WrestleMania 14.
Yeah. Yes. I think this was definitely the best match. It's really weird. It's really weird. It is. It's very good. I think there's a lot of good build up, a lot of history. It rejuvenated the Undertaker's character by bringing Kane in, and which set a huge trajectory of like new stuff for him with the Brothers of Destruction all those years later. It was a great start. I don't think I dare say that there hasn't been a better job done on a big character like that coming in and helping somebody and just being that both of them be just as good working with each other. It was the perfect combination and storyline. It was great. It was great.
That's fair. I mean, it is a good match. I'm looking at it, like, okay, like it is a little like, okay, it does go on a little too long at points, but I think the finish and everything surrounding it, I do like. So I do agree that this is probably the actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch my score to a 3.5.
Okay. I'll take it.
So that leaves us with the main event, Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. Like we mentioned before, this was essentially Austin's jumping off point with like in terms of the main event scene. So the match itself, in terms of a main event, I don't think it's either Austin's or Shawn's best matches. But
No, it wasn't.
I think it's the most important in terms of both men because Shawn leaves for 4 years because of the back injury after this.
Yeah.
You know, Austin's career, like he's now the guy. And the fact Shawn was doing the bumps that he was taking throughout was like for a guy with a really fucked up back, like the fact that he was like taking the bumps he was taking, like he took like one corner bump where he was doing the flip over like the over the top over the corner, like it looked and it was like loud too. It was hard.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
and it was like holy shit. And he's like taking like a and he's like takes like a big like back body drop bump, and it genuinely like the fact he was taking a lot of the bumps too, it's just like man, it's Shawn was really he was trying here, man. Like
I mean, there was one point where you could see him get up very differently than normally up off the mat, and they're like pointing out, yeah, his back is fucked because he gets up a lot different than usually, you know, when you're trying to get up off the mat.
Yeah, I mean this story is about Triple H helping him out, getting him ready for the match, helping him get dressed, even leading into that day. I mean, he just did not want to be. I mean, I think the promo in Boston, I think I think it was Saturday, but before the actual WrestleMania, he didn't want to get out of his limousine or wherever he was at to deal with Austin. He was just refusing to do all sorts of stuff because of his injuries. He was just not the same person at all. But he's still a true professional. He gave you the best that he can give you.
Yep.
Yeah, and fun fact: there's apparently a rumor that like Taker like was gonna beat up Shawn if Shawn didn't do the job to.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's true. I think Shawn Michaels admit that Taker would have done something.
Which I mean, at this point, I mean, I think Shawn would have put over Austin anyway, because I think Shawn knew like he was gone, like. But then again, Shawn at this time was a dick. I think that's well documented. He's a dick. I mean, I wouldn't have put it past him if Shawn pulled I'm not gonna have Austin beat me. I'll just vacate the belt the next night. Like, I'm not saying it would have happened. I'm saying if that did happen, I feel like the WWF would have lost a lot of momentum because then they're gonna go,
and they knew it too.
So Shawn losing to Austin here was the right choice, and they did do the right thing. And the Mike Tyson stuff, I mean, look, I know it's like a little bit like it's almost like okay, like isn't that like a little bit of like a Russo swerve type of thing? Yeah, but you know what? Fair enough. Like you want to send the crowd home happy. Like Tyson's not going to be really with the company that much if he really was going to be there, and you know, fuck it. Like, just send the crowd home happy, punches Shawn in the face. Like, Austin's the champion. Tyson, you know, lost. Cool. Like, shit, fuck it. Just end it like that, you know?
And they needed that too. WWE or WWF at the time, they really needed that because WCW at that time was still kicking them in the ratings.
Oh, absolutely.
Mike Tyson was the thing they really need to get attention. And now, you know, the next night after that, it launched the Austin McMahon thing and you know, history, you know, it's history after that.
And fun fact, too, and this is the fun fact I was going to bring up here. This was actually the last pay-per-view that the Winged Eagle belt was defended. Yeah. Because the next night, the Big Eagle got introduced.
Nope, and Austin gave Vince a stunner, which no one ever saw the boss take a stunner or ever been touched on camera.
And another fun fact, the Big Eagle belt had a blue strap at first.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was bizarre.
Yeah.
But for this match, for me, this was just an important. You know, match was good, not great, but it was more of like the results were very important. There was a lot of stakes up, and like you mentioned, if Shawn Michaels just dropped, just faking the belt, didn't show up, didn't do this, it would have killed. It would have killed WWE to try to get some popularity, for try to get something going. Austin, I think, eventually would have found a way to get to where he was at, but it just would have been a lot longer. And
So
at that point, living at that moment, I just remember like people just wanted him to finally be the champion. They want him to be the guy after screaming, shouting, yelling for like the past year after his match with Bret Hart and stuff like that. It's just like finally seeing Austin win the belt was just such a big moment because he was great at just chasing for the belt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even before that too, like the guy, like before the neck injury, before he was Steve Austin, like Stone Cold, like he was a guy in WCW that got fucked over because of the politics, right?
Right.
Like he was the guy that he was a great technical worker. He wasn't like the talker he was then, but or now, but at the time, like he was like, you know, he had the stuff with the Hollywood Blondes, like he was, you know, going up the ranks, and like he it almost felt like he had what it took, but he needed like more, like he had the tools. It didn't come together until like after he got fired, and then he went to ECW and then he finally started finding his voice, and then the stuff when he came in, where then he had the Austin 316 promo at the King of the Ring, and like and then he finally it's almost like he went about it the right way, where he started at the bottom and then progressively as time went on he became bigger. So
nope, I agree on that one.
So I would say overall,
I mean, he needed that belt for validation.
Yeah,
he really did. It's the same thing with 17. When people don't understand, like he needed that to validate he was back on top again. So Austin, it's like you mentioned, he got screwed by WCW, and that was still there for him because WWE could have done the same thing to him at any point in time, and thankfully they didn't do that because he drew God knows how much money within that 5-year span from like 96 to 2002.
absolutely.
But yeah, that's for me. That this was just such an important part. Him winning the title for the first time, it launched WF to become a much big pop phenomenon again. It brought so many different people coming back to watch wrestling, new wrestling fans. You know, it really turned WCW from being this top thing to being like, you know, it just flipped. Vince versus Austin the next night, and it just started running right after that. It just never stopped until 17.
Absolutely. I would say as a whole, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. It's not necessarily that it's not a bad match. It's one of those matches that's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's more remembered for its importance than it really is about the match.
Right.
So I feel like grading this match, it's difficult because you have to rate it as a match. And as a match, I just said it's like a straight 3.
Yeah, 3 point. I can give it a 3.5 or 3, you know, because of the moments. But I mean, Shawn Michaels being injured and giving you whatever he could give you, or maybe half-ass some of it. Who knows? You know, it was a lot of botches, but they gave you they like you said, they let all the fans walk out happy knowing Austin got the title. He gave a stunner. He had a beer with Mike Tyson. Shawn Michaels got knocked out. You never saw him again in I think 2 years after that, or a year after that, or something.
Yeah, it was something like that, I think.
Or 6. I think it was 6-7 months after that. Yeah, it was 6 or 7 months. He came back once with Austin because he was now the commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back and then Triple H like threw him on top of a car and beat him up or something backstage.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was all about, but
I mean, Shawn Michaels, like back in those days, he could not fight. He got his ass kicked by everybody.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the reason behind it. They was like, we're going to let you in DX, but then he kicked him out like the same night or something.
Probably.
It's weird. He was probably having problems backstage or something. I don't know.
I mean, he treated like Triple H like crap, despite Triple H being a loyal friend to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd give it.
Oops, sorry, Shifty, go ahead.
I give it like a 3.5. I would give it like 3.75, but there's a point in the match where I don't understand the psychology of Tyson or what side he was, because he trips Austin up. He trips Austin up during the match, and then And then what's his face comes in and like does a low blow on Austin's shin. So I guess but if they're going by the storyline that he's working with Austin, why would he do that for Austin to get set up for such a debilitating move there? I don't know.
Like I said, botch. There's a lot of botch with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't think he understood. I don't think he followed what was supposed to
No,
happen.
he didn't. That's why when he punched Mike Tyson, that's actually Mike Tyson really punching him in the face.
Oh yeah, after
And
the
he held
match, you
back.
see Sean laying on the mat. He's rubbing his tongue over his teeth to see if he's still got them all. Yeah, he's checking his teeth.
Yeah, I mean, the sad part is I don't fault the botches on them. I just think it was more so like Sean could only really do so much at that point, and the fact he was even able to do what he could was impressive for a guy whose back was really bad. So with that being said, I mean, we've talked and covered about the show. Let's give because we've gone on about an hour and a half, and it's 11:30, so I do want to try and wrap things up here. I guess we could just talk about our final thoughts on WrestleMania 14. I think as a whole, Mania 14 is one of those shows where on the surface, it's not the most impressive, if that makes sense, but it's the most important Mania up to this point because what it represents. And this really did feel like the definitive, okay, the Attitude Era is really starting to pick up now. And now we're kind of starting to really phase out that new generation mindset. Now we're going into this Attitude Era mindset.
Absolutely.
Because technically you can say okay, well, the Attitude Era really started here, but I feel like WrestleMania 14 was the definitive okay, we're now out of that new generation mindset of now we have to do things a different way. And as a whole, I thought it was good.
Absolutely. I would you give for me, I would give this WrestleMania 14 probably an 8 out of 10 for the importance, and you had some good matches. And you had some careers being launched, not just Austin's, but Triple H, The Rock's, Kane's. It was a very important WrestleMania 14, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. There was a lot of really good significance and some good stuff that came out of it.
I'd give it probably about a 7.5. I don't think it's the most important WrestleMania. I think if you listen by importance, I think 1 and 3 are probably higher importance, but this was probably the third behind those two up until that point. Definitely important in trying to get the upper hand on WCW, but to put them on the cultural landmark, I think 1 and 3 are just untouchable, just with how hot wrestling was back in the 80s and Hulkamania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I also give it I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's good, but as a whole, there's definitely some low moments, but I do think the importance of it kind of edged it out for me.
I mean, this was the start for WCW to start slowly falling apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was the fixed point in the timeline. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been about an hour and 40 minutes. Actually, you know what? I'll do the whole wheel spin later. It's late. I'm tired. So
I'm tired as well. I think we all are.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly wrap up here. Shifty, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Thursday night, 7:45 on Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective and Vinny Art. It's the Collectible Pass Toy Show. 3 hours talking about toys from the 1950s all the way up till today. And of course, Sunday night, 8 o'clock. You can find us on the Real Review 3000 and Hanstar YT for the weekly wrap up and Jackbox Fun Night, where we play What the Dub and Jackbox. Get in the chat. We'll try to get you in the game and have some fun.
Very good. Very good.
You can find me on Storms Nation every Sunday night.
Perfect. You can find me on Storms Nation every Sunday. Basketball Scenario for the Hangout on Wednesdays. You can find me on my channel now every other Saturday for good old Wrasslin. You can find me on the Cool Kids movie reviews, and you can find me on every other Friday for Galactic Chat on Seth's channel. Yeah, that about does it for me. So, guys, we'll be back in a couple weeks' time. And that'll about do it. So thank you guys for watching. This is the Oscinator signing out.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.